Good morning. This is Karen Taradas with Social U, and it is time for another installment of What's Up Wednesday, where we come to you live every Wednesday morning to give you social media marketing tips, tricks, and trends. All this month, we're talking about Instagram, um, just Instagram all month long. Last week, we told you about let's see, what did we talk about last week? What's new in Instagram, how it works, the five pieces that make up a good Instagram account. And now I'm going to break it down over the next few weeks. So last week was the overview. Today we're going to talk exclusively about posts. Next week is stories. The week after that is reels. And then we're going to wrap it all up at the end of the month with good captions, how to write a good caption, why you need to use emojis, consistency and posting, all that stuff. So everything else will come at the end of the month. So, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. And looks like my signal's a little weak, so let me come off Wi-Fi on my phone. Okay, so today's about posts, exclusively posts. So what does it matter? You have all these other options. There's reels, there's stories. Do you really need to be making posts? Is that a thing? It is, absolutely. Okay, so why does it matter? First and foremost, there's power in the post. They're evergreen. They'll stay there until you decide you want to delete them or remove them from your feed, and they will show up in your followers' feeds. That's how it works. Now, based on the algorithm, which we're going to talk about today, you may not appear at the top of the feed, but you will appear in the feed. That's how posts work. So why is Instagram critical? I always like to talk about the why. Statistically, you're looking at over 3.5 billion visits every day. 500 million people use stories. The average user spends at least 30 minutes a day on Instagram. 81% of people use it to research products and services. That's huge. And more than half of Americans will check it at least once a day. So if you're a business and you're not on Instagram, especially if your target audience is under the age of 35, you are missing out on a huge opportunity. So back to posts. How often should you do it? When should you do it? Ideally, you want to put up one post a day, 5 to 6 times a week. Now, that may be a lot. So, in general, it's recommended 2 to 3 times a week if that's what your bandwidth can handle. And I'm all about what works for you. Now, we can talk about ideals all day long, but that doesn't mean that seriously, it's real life. Not everybody has time to do all that stuff. So, if you can't handle 5 to 6 posts a week, I would rather see you consistently post 2 to 3 times a week and keep it consistent for weeks or months at a time than to come out strong and post 5 times a week and then get tired or burned out or have, content overwhelm and shut down after 30 days. So do what you can handle 2 to 3 times a week. The best times according to Instagram, the best times of day to post are between 11 and 2 p.m. We have, of course, we experiment with different clients, different industries, because it varies from industry to industry. It also varies based on location. So, realtors, they tend to do better much later during the day. They do better between 5 and 7 p.m. Wedding professionals do better in the afternoon from 3 to 6. So most of the time, afternoon works better for most of our clients, but you need to test it and see what works for you. Monday through Friday is always a good time to post. Saturday, the traffic tends to be high, but the highest day is Tuesday, which I thought was very interesting. What's the worst day? It's the worst day for everything. Sunday. Sunday's always the worst day. People just don't want to think about work on Sunday, which more power to you. So if you're going to post, I would schedule it between Monday and Saturday, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you have to test the time to see what works for you. Again, we do better later in the afternoon. Most of the industries we work with do better later in the afternoon. But if you're a restaurant, you need to be posting at 10:30 a.m. so people can see the specials for the day. So it does vary based on industry. So let's talk about the algorithm, because it's seriously tons of questions about, well, how do I appear in the news feed? How do I get into other people's news feeds? And there are 6 key factors that dictate how your information shows up for your users and how you receive information. Number one, it's based on interest. So the more Instagram thinks that you're going to like a post, they're going to show it to you more in your feed. And that's based on your past behavior. So if you spend a ton of time on our page one day, they're going to assume that you like our content and they're going to feed it to you more. That's just how it works. And they're going to feed you similar content and potentially analyze that so that the actual content of the post and then feed you more of that. So if you like pizza from this person, you're going to like pizza from all the people. That's just what they think. So when you're expressing your interest by liking and sharing and looking up, Instagram hangs on to all that information, and that's how they feed you new information. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You're like, oh, I'm in the market for a mattress, and you look at a couple of posts, and all of a sudden you're getting mattress ads and mattress companies on your feed. That's why they do it like that. Number two, the second thing that impacts the algorithm or timelines. How long ago was it posted? They're always going to feed you the newest content first. Number three, relationship. If you often comment on someone's photos or you get tagged in photos with them, it signals to Instagram that you're part of their circle, their family and friends. And as a result, you're going to see more content like that. So it works also the other way around. So if you're a company and you ask your followers to tag you, it's a great way for them to see more of your content because Instagram assumes that you're connected. And when they see those tags, they're going to start showing your stuff more. So if your engagement's down, run a contest where you require tags in a post or tags on their post, and your engagement will pop up. Number four, frequency. How often are you on the app? Again, they reward consistency. If you are consistently posting somewhere between 3 and 5 times a week, that's rewarded. They're going to let more people see it. Number five is following. It always shows posts based on who you follow, and that's how it gives you the information. And then six is usage. The more you're on, the deeper they're going to go for content. That's how it works. So if you're on Instagram every single day and you check an account regularly, they're going to start giving you posts that are deeper and deeper into the account because it wants you to have new information and it's already shown you the new stuff. So it's going to go to the old stuff next. Yeah. Instagram released multiple changes that I talked about, I believe last week in the overview, because there are many changes coming to Instagram. But one of the things they're talking about is going back to an algorithm that's chronological, which means when you log in, you'll see based on who you follow, you'll see those posts first in chronological order, which is a good thing for a lot of small businesses because you're not having to compete with larger accounts that have more engagement. You just have to get the follower. And once you get the follower, they will start to see your information on the regular if the algorithm goes back to logic, but hasn't been. They say that they're going to do it, but it hasn't happened yet. So we'll see kind of where that goes. All right. So now you know some of the stats about why, and you know about how the algorithm works so people can see your stuff. So what do you need to post? What are some good ideas for content to post as a post? And we get this question a lot. I'm burned out. I have no idea what kind of content to use. Well, if you're not using a content calendar, which I highly recommend, we have one. I'm happy to send it to you if you'll send me a direct message. There are categories like buckets, and it's easiest to pull from that kind of information. What do I mean? I mean, if you know you have to have a testimonial for Tuesday twice a month, it's easier for you to locate that information so it's available when it's time for you to post. So pulling from these content buckets or these content ideas always makes it easier to create new information. It streamlines the process. So I have 11 categories for you to consider for your content. They work. Number one, and I'm sure you've heard me say this at least 1,000 times, video. Video is critical this year. Instagram announced they are no longer going to be a photo sharing app. They are going to be a video app. Can you say TikTok? They're shaking in their boots. They're trying to compete, so they're really pushing out video right now. So if you don't have video in your marketing plan, you're going to miss that boat. We're going to talk about video when we get more about video when we get to stories, and especially reels, because reels is exclusively video, but video. Number two, how-tos. How-tos are huge. People love a how-to. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Stuff that you take for granted that everybody knows, people don't know. You only know it's easy to you doesn't make it easy to someone else. Your experience is not someone else's experience. So you need to make sure that when you're doing your how-tos, don't, ask people what they want to know and then show them that. It's just not hard. But how-tos are a great category, and it covers a lot of material. Number three, tips, tricks, or shortcuts. Like for us, iPhone shortcuts, Canva shortcuts. That's the kind of stuff that people are looking for. Number 4, trends. Trending sound is huge because people will get onto a trending sound or a trending hashtag and follow it all the way down the rabbit hole. So if you're one of the first adapters for a trend, especially if it's a sound, you can really rank very high. Number 5, quotes. Quotes always do well. Let me rephrase that. Quotes most of the time do very well depending on the industry. You do have to test that. Number 6, testimonials. People are all about third-party endorsement. Yelp built a very profitable business on that. So if don't take my word for it, look at my 200 reviews on Yelp or look at my 40 different Google reviews. That's the kind of thing that you need. And when you could share those testimonials so people can see them, it validates you, it validates your services. Testimonials are always great. Number 7, sneak peek. If you have a program or a new product or anything that you're wanting to share soon, the sneak peek works great. Number 8, questions. Talk to your audience. Most people are very happy to engage with you. And statistically, the younger the target audience, the more likely they are not only to engage with a brand, but to listen to the brand. It's something like 80% would rather engage with a brand. And when I say of younger people, people under 30. So as a brand, talk to your audience. It's very helpful. Number 9, behind the scenes, any kind of behind the scenes. And I find this kind of fascinating because you'll see on TikTok a lot of videos that do really well are people talking about whatever they're talking about, whether it's a how-to or a tip or a trend, whatever they're discussing, while they're doing a mundane task. And I mean mundane, like taking their makeup off, putting makeup on, making a cup of coffee, sharpening a pencil. Doesn't have to be complicated. One that's huge right now, any kind of cake decorator or bakery person will show how they make the cake, fill up the cupcake cups, make the icing, while there's a story that has nothing to do with that playing in the background. And those videos do very well. People like behind the scenes. Number 10, memes. If you're funny, be funny. If you're not funny, hire someone who's funny because humor really works. Humor sells. And if you feel like you're struggling with that, absolutely find somebody who can help you with it because again, memes are huge. Now, I will tell you this statistically, a lot of brands who are using memes, if you're using something that's old or you use it incorrectly, it can do more harm than good. So if you're gonna use a meme or you're gonna be funny, make sure it's current, it's trending, and it's spot on because if you aim and miss, it does not go well. Just a caution, a word to the wise. And number 11, user generated content. Anytime anybody tags you, mentions you, shares your information, respond, share that right back. User generated content, especially for retail folks, wedding professionals, any kind of service based industry where you can show the before and after that your client posted, that is good content and it will help you a lot long term. And that's it for post today. So again, Instagram is critical. It's now seriously up there with if you're a business and you don't have a Facebook page, you don't exist. We are rapidly getting to the point where, especially for certain industries, if you don't have an Instagram page, you don't exist. People can't find you online. They'll just go to the next name that they can find online. So make sure you have a strong foundation, but always be sure to do what you can handle. Uh, Even for companies like us that do this all the time, when we roll out a new client, if we're on 3 to 4 platforms, it can be overwhelming. So do what you can do as you can do it. And that may look like starting on Facebook and getting comfortable after you post for a month and you're in the rhythm and you have a schedule down and it works for you. And then you add Instagram. And it might mean only adding 3 posts a week, and that's okay. Instagram has so many different opportunities to post. To me, it can be the most overwhelming platform because it's not just posting, it's stories, it's reels, it's video. There's a lot happening, there's a lot of moving parts. So you have to come up with a formula that works for you. And your formula might be 2 posts and 2 stories and 1 video. And that's great. If you can handle that kind of content creation, I think that's awesome. So you have to look at what works for you. I will be back next week. We are going to talk about, I think next week is stories. Let me look real quick so I can make sure I'm telling. Yeah, next week is stories. And stories frustrate a lot of people because they take the longest of any piece of content to make, and they last the shortest amount of time, which is kind of crazy, right? And Instagram rewards you for multiple stories. Well, if it took me 20 minutes to make one, it's going to take me 40 minutes to make two. It could be a lot. So we're going to talk about template use and suggestions for stories. I'm going to cover all that stuff for you guys next week. And if you have any questions in the meantime, of course, you can comment on this video or send me a direct message, and I will let you guys know. We launched our membership program at the first of this month. If that is something that interests you, I am honoring all this month. It's a special introductory price for anyone who's interested, $10 a month. I will put a link in the comments here as soon as we're done. It gives you access to our private Facebook group. We give you information, one piece of really solid content or training once a week. I go live once a month, but to me, the best thing about it is you can pop in there anytime you need to and ask a question, and someone will respond to you in 24 hours. We get a lot of questions that are, they change the rules every 5 minutes. Can I do this? Well, you could 2 months ago, but now you can't. That's what we're for. We do all that research and pay attention to that stuff so you don't have to. So if that interests you, I will put the link down below. And until then, I'll be back next week. Until next Wednesday, you guys, I'm Karen Taradas, and I'm here to help. Thanks.